Welcome to Coffee with Chaos. My name is James, and here is my coffee. And the whole country is pretty much in chaos, so I don't have to show any of that. I'm not going to go into reasons. I'm not going to go into anything else. You'll just settle for the fact that it's in chaos. Now, a while back, well, it hasn't been that long, last week or maybe over the weekend, I got a comment on one of my videos that says, and it was a video about grading, that I was completely incorrect. And then they gave a whole bunch of CGC reasons why. Now, I started collecting comics back a long time ago. No, I started reading comics around 1960, 1959, 1960, 1961, sometime in that time frame. Sometime between the time I was 5 and the time I was 7. Okay. And in 1968 or 69, I got more serious about collecting comics. Because before that, if I had 40 comics, I had a huge collection to my mind because I was a kid, But like I said, around 68 or 69, I got more serious. In 1970, they changed the game. Now, let me explain what I'm talking about here. Before 1970, if you had a comic and it was complete with a cover, you were good. It didn't matter that much. The condition wasn't as important. But like I said, in 1970, they changed the game. Because in 1970, the first Overstreet comic book price guide was released. It had a white cover, and I didn't get it because it was sold out before I had a chance. But I did manage to get the second edition. And that was a long time ago, and I lost track of it sometime while I was in the Army. But I did pick up a facsimile edition of it, because first editions are hard to find. If I ever do find one, I plan on trying to get it. So why am I talking about that? And why did it change the game? For the first time, we had a somewhat definitive description for condition on comic books. Before that, it was one person would say one thing, one might say another, one might say something else. How you doing, Kenneth? Glad to see you. Glad you could stop in. So I'm going to read this whole page. It's not that difficult. And this is from 1970. Condition of comic books. Mint. Perfect. Absolutely like new, regardless of age. No printing or cutting defects. No creases in the cover. Slight discoloration from age only. Arrival dates penciled on covers do not detract from this condition. The next condition they talk about is fine. Slight wear or discoloration on edges only. Otherwise perfect. Read once or twice and stored away. Next, they had very good. Tight cover, some signs of wear, minor markings, but none that deface the cover. Some slight discoloration, but not soiled. Slight, you're going to love this, slight professionally applied magic tape repairs on spine only. Whoa, have we come a long way in 50 years? We're actually, 50 years. 60 years. Yeah, it's getting close to 60. Good. An average used copy, complete with both covers and no panels missing. Slightly soiled or marked. Possibly creased or slightly damaged on the edges, but no tears requiring tape repairs. On the spine, which may be taped, except on the spine, which may be taped. Fair, complete, except possibly both covers requiring or having tape repairs or tears. Damaged, but the elements are damaged by the elements, but fairly sound and completely legible. And finally, we have poor, damaged, heavily weathered, soiled, or otherwise unsuited for collection purposes. Important. Books with defects such as pages missing, torn or taped covers and pages, brown or brittle pages, restapled, heavily taped spines or covers, watermarked, printing defects, stained, holed, or other imperfections that distract from the original beauty are worth less than if free from these defects. And that's what we had to go by. Is it any wonder that grading was subjective back then? Let's go forward 42 years. We'll just say 42 years as a roundabout thing. And they came out with the first Overstreet comic book grading guide. Now, I'm not going to go through and read out of this, but the neat part about this was it was a 99-point grading guide, because you couldn't get 100. There was no way you were going to get 100. But the idea was that from 1 to 99. And that was the way you graded comics. And I used this for years. But then along came CGC and CBCS and PGX and all those other companies that are all the grading companies, the experts. Came around to what, around 2000, 2001, somewhere around there. I don't know exactly when. But let's show you the newer guide. This isn't the current one, but this is a newer one. And everything in this one is in the newer one. I mean, they might have different pictures, but the grading definitions haven't changed. I mean, they've changed a lot since those early days. And then we're going to take, and I'll read some of that, but I also printed out CGC standards and CBCS standards. I didn't bother with any of the other companies. So we're going to start with 9.8, because that seems to be the gold standard. When you get a 9.8 comic, you've pretty much got the best you're going to get. 9.8, according to CGC. A nearly perfect collectible with negligible handling or manufacturing defects. That's it. They don't talk about page quality there, but they have a separate page quality scale. Off-white. Paper that exhibits very light aging through the middle of each page, or white pages that exhibit light aging to the outer edges. With rare exception, comic books considered for the grade 9.8 or better must achieve at least an off-white page designation. So they're saying a 9.8, you can have off-white pages. Not off-white to white, but off-white. Let's go to CBCS, and theirs is even shorter. 9.8, near mint plus. This is close to mint with a few minor defects. Interior pages are almost always off-white to white or better. Now let's see what Overstreet has to say. 9.8, near mint to mint. Near mint to mint, nearly perfect in every way, and only minor imperfections that keep it from the next higher grade. Only subtle bindery or printing defects are allowed. No bindery tears. Cover is flat with no surface wear. Inks are bright and with high reflectivity. Generally well centered and firmly secured to interior pages. Corners are cut square and sharp. No creases. Small. Inconspicuously lightly penciled, stamped, or inked arrival dates are acceptable as long as they are in unobtrusive location. No soiling, staining, or other discoloration. Spine is tight and flat. No spine roll or split allowed. Staples must be original, generally centered, and clean with no rust. No staple tears or stress lines. Paper is off-white to white, supple and fresh. No hint of acidity in the odor of the newsprint. Centerfold is firmly secure. Only the slightest interior tears are allowed. That's a big difference. You could grade off of that. How are you going to grade off one of these two? Yeah, in a 9.8, you can have an arrival date according to some of them. The next one, I'm going to go back to CGC for a second, and we're going to go down. Yeah, I'm going to look at their page quality scale. Off-white is 9.8. Let's see the next time they mention a number. Oh, light tan to off-white. Paper that still appears off-white in the middle of each page, but the edges have developed a tanned appearance considerably darker than cream to off-white. This type of page quality is common among file copies, particularly from Dell or HireV. A comic book cannot achieve a grade higher than 8.5 with this grade quality, with this page quality. 8.5, huh? Let's see what they say about 8.5 on their grading scale. 8.5, very fine plus. For me, that is the lowest high grade you can get. Now, when I first started collecting, there was no such thing as high grade, mid grade, low grade, no grade. Those terms did not exist because the term grade did not exist. It was condition. 8.5, unattractive collectible with a moderate defect or a number of small defects. How can you, what? Let's take a look at CBCS. Now, CBCS has it listed very fine to near mint. So they have a 7.5 to 9.0 range. And in the 8.0, they consider that very fine. 8.5, very fine plus. A very fine comic book appears to have been read a few times and has been handled with care. These grades allow for some more defects than higher grades. Overall, an above average copy and still very collectible. Some of the above defects along with a fold or crease in the cover that breaks color. Some stress marks on spine. A few small chips on the cover. The cover has some slight wear, surface wear, but still has much of its original gloss, and there is nothing major wrong with it. Sun shadows, dust shadows, and tanning can be darker and have more of a visual impact than those in higher grades. Now, it's not saying it can have all of that stuff, but that's an example of one or two of the things that it could have. That's my understanding of it. Let's see what Overstreet says. Very fine plus fits the criteria for very fine, but with additional virtue or small accumulation of virtues that improves the book's appearance by a perceptible amount. Let's just go ahead and read the actual very fine. An excellent copy with outstanding eye appeal, sharp, bright, and clean with supple pages. A comic book in this grade has the appearance of having been carefully handled. A limited accumulation of minor bindery defects is allowed. Cover is relatively flat with minimal surface wear beginning to show, possibly including some minor or minute wear at corners. Inks are generally bright with moderate to high reflectivity. A 1/4 inch crease is acceptable if color is not broken. Stamped or inked arrival dates may be present. No obvious soiling, staining, or other discoloration except for minor foxing. Spine is almost always flat with no roll. Possible minor color break allowed. Staples may show some discoloration. Very slight staple tears and a few almost very minor to minor stress lines. Very minor to minor stress lines may be present. No rust migration. In rare cases, a comic was not stapled at the bindery and therefore has a missing staple. This is not considered a defect. Any staple can be replaced on books up to fine, but only vintage staples can be used on books from very fine to near mint. Mint books have original staples. Paper is tanned to cream and supple. No hint of acidity in the odor of the newsprint. Centerfold is mostly secure. Minor interior tears at the margin may be present. I don't know about you guys, but I could grade a comic based on that. I can judge the condition of comic based on that. I can't judge the condition of a comic based on this. I can't judge the condition of a comic based on this. So let's go back to this. We're back to the CGC page quality. I want to see whether next time they mention it. Next time they mention something is 7.5. Similar to light tan, off-white pages, but edges of pages are darker. The best grade a comic book can achieve with this page quality is 7.5. 7.5 we've already covered for CBCS. For CGC, it's an above average collectible with moderate defect or an accumulation of small defects. Why am I even reading that? Very fine minus 7.5 fits the criteria for very fine, but with additional defect of small accumulation of defects that detracts from the book's appearance by a perceptible amount. I'm not going to read the whole thing because that paragraph is almost as long as the 8.0 paragraph for 7.0. Not only do they have the grading definitions in the front, but each time you go to a different section, it goes through and gives you key amounts. This is the book everybody should be grading by. Not this bullshit. Not this bullshit. Now, I don't know. I don't have the CGC grading guide book. I'm planning on getting a copy if it's ever released again. But currently I don't have one. But if you're a collector, this is what you should be going by. Don't trust the grading companies. And the reason I say don't trust the grading companies is they're in the business for one reason and one reason only. And that's to make you part with your money so that they can do the job that you could have done if you had have invested in one of these. And this is probably a $30 book, maybe $40, I don't know. This was $25 when it came out, so it's probably about $35 now. Worth every penny of it. I've been grading comics since since this. Every time there's an update, every time a new price guide came out, I would check to see if the grading standards changed. And they have. They have changed over the years, many, many times. Every time it changes in the Overstreet guides, I make subtle changes in the way I grade comics. I do have the new one on order. It should be here sometime in December. In the meantime, I go with the 54th edition. This also has a grading guide in it. Every Overstreet price guide has a short section on comic book grading. I have 23 Overstreet price guides. Actually, I have more than that because I have duplicates, some of them because I like different covers. I will eventually have them all. It's one of the things I collect. And why do I have them all? Because I like them, and it's good history. It's a good way to learn about things you don't know. Check this out. We're going to look up a comic book. Comic book that sells for a lot of money. Not Action Comics #1. Because nobody can afford that anyway. Amazing Fantasy 15. Good condition, $12. Fine condition, $14. Sick mint condition, $16. That was in 1970. Oh, I let out a word once or every now and then. Diecast. I let out a word every now and then. Michael, glad you could stop in. Diecast, glad you could make it. And yeah, you're always late, so we're not worried about it too much. Dylan, glad you could stop in. And I released a long video this morning. Don't shoot me. But I wanted to go through the whole thing. I didn't want to break it into 2 parts. So that's why I did that. Let's move on. I've talked about grading enough. But I'm going to say one more final thing. You don't grade comics. You assess the condition of a comic book. Grading involves numbers. Assessing the condition is exactly what it sounds like. You decide, is it good? Is it very good? Is it fine? Is it very fine? Is it near mint? That is assessing the condition of the comic. Once you do that, you can figure out the number grade. So what do we got here? We got Enchanter #1. I'm very disappointed with my pressing on this one. I still have some spine stress that I should not have. It didn't come out right. I'm going to redo it this weekend or this coming weekend. This has a Mike Dringenberg cover. Although if you look it up, you won't be able to find the cover attribution, but it has his little symbol right here. And if people were into comics long enough, they would know that that's his symbol. But so that's who did that one. Mike Dringenberger. He did the cover of that one. Then we have Captain Victory and his Galactic Rangers #9. Jack Kirby did the cover, of course. Felix, glad you could stop in. You watched it all day, huh? It wasn't that long. It was about 45 minutes. That is the longest video I think I've done to date that wasn't a live stream. Next up, we've got a beautiful Sanho Kim cover on this Cheyenne the Kid number 80. Really like Sanho Kim's artwork. I just had to get that out because I hadn't said it yet today. Archie and Me number 41. I have to fix this up here. I have it in there. I just haven't fixed it. I don't know who did the art on this one. It looks a little like Dan DeCarlo, but I don't know. So maybe Felix knows. He knows a lot of stuff. We've got Tales of Sword and Sorcery, Dagar the Invincible. I got to use all of my mouth and tongue. This is number 9. And there's no attribution on the cover of this one either, but it looks a little bit like George Wilson. I really like the way this one came out. This cover was so dirty. When I did my damp cleaning, with the soap and the water and stuff like that, I had to keep changing the pad because I got about a third of it done and looked at the cotton round and it was black. And I did it again for the next, and it was black. It took like 12 cotton rounds to do the cover. And then another 12 to do the back cover. But it turned out really nice. I'm really happy with it. It's got some color loss down here, but that's not my fault. There was a lot of grit and grime in the interior pages too, but we took care of all of that. And I think it looks good now. Really happy with that. This is Roy Rogers Comics number 87, by the way. And in case you hadn't noticed, it's a photo cover of Roy Rogers and Bullet. That's the dog, Bullet. Next up, sorry, Michael, I'm not giving this one up. Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commandos, number 14. It's from January 1965. And of course, Jack Kirby did the art in that one. So why didn't I include this one in my video that I did on War Comics? Well, it was in the press. Quite literally, it was in the heat press, and I don't want to take it out for that. So, yeah, I'm sorry, you're not getting this one. I'd like to get about the first 50 or 60 issues of Sergeant Fury. I don't really want more than that. Then we have Sad Sack number 173. And of course, George Baker did the cover on that one. This is from 1965 also. I suspect you might have seen this one before. This is a Ross Andru, Michael Esposito cover for Spider-Man number 180. And this is one that I did an example of dry cleaning on. From 1976. And I'm going to put this one up here in this box. I'm going to have to send that box out pretty soon. We have Batlash, number 6. Nick Cardy cover. Good stuff. I like my Westerns. This is from 1969. Pretty much all of the Batlash comics are from 1969. Here we have Mark Badger on American Flag, number 31. Or no, 36, excuse me. Yeah, I have 2 or 3 copies of this, so you've probably seen it before. 1987. This is Cerebus number 41. Turned out really nice. It was water damaged. It all swollen up on the bottom as normal, but since it's dark, you can't see the water stain. I consider this a low-grade comic, even though it turned out really nice. I'm not getting rid of my Cerebuses. I'm sorry. Here's another simple Kate. Classics Illustrated Junior, number 549-576. You're going to get tired of seeing this comic because you're going to see it a bunch. I've got like 5 copies of it, and I'm pressing every single one of them. From 1969, this issue was released, or reissue was released, the spring of 1969. And we have The Twilight Zone, number 62. So disappointed with this, it's missing the last page. I'll find a way to get the last page. We have The Occult Files of Dr. Spectre, number 18, from 1975. And the cover was done by who? Jesse Santos, I believe. Yep, Jesse Santos. The Twilight Zone cover was done by Ricardo Villamonte. Yeah, it's not a long series. It was only ran 7 issues, and they're not real expensive. We've got this wonderful Mike Kaluta cover on House of Mystery, number 294. It turned out pretty nice. I mean, it's still just a mid-grade copy, but it turned out nice. I like it. I've got House of Secrets number 116 that's missing the centerfold, but I know where I can get a copy of the centerfold. It's such a low-grade copy anyway. Matter of fact, I marked it as no grade because it's got pieces missing. My 4 grades: high grade, mid grade, low grade, no grade. The cover on this was done by Luis Dominguez. And like I said, I know where I can get the centerfold, so I'll print a copy out and stick it in there. And I'll be happy because I'll have a comic that I can read. And we've got House of Mystery number 215, another Luis Dominguez cover. I like his work. I'm not that familiar with it. Or actually, I wasn't familiar with the name. I'm familiar with the work. Nice little comic there. Next up, this cover was by H.C. Kiefer. Classics Illustrated, Hunchback of Notre Dame, number 18-60. This is a 3rd print. And I have Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Classics Illustrated Junior, or Classics Illustrated number 13-167. I think this is about a 7th or 8th print. I forget which. Could even be a 9th print. It's from the later years. I've got it in my database, but I don't feel like looking. And then we have Classics Illustrated Junior, Frankenstein, number 26-60. This is a 3rd print, but they changed the artwork, so I have to get an earlier print so I can have the original cover artwork. Of course, I want to get all of them anyway. I don't care. I'm crazy. Did this one for the Halloween. The Friendly Ghost Casper, number 26 from 1965. Warren Kremer did the art in this one. And I have a really nice copy here of Walt Disney's Huey, Dewey, and Louie Junior Woodchucks number 12. And this was done by Kay Wright. Kay Wright did the cover on that one. I have a better copy. This is a nice copy, but I have a better one. This one has a small crease in one of the corners. Enchanter number 2, also Mike Dringenberger. Or Dringenberg, there's no at the end. Dringenberg. I like his artwork. And the interior is just as good as the exterior. And again, there's his little symbol right there. Then we have Captain Victory, number 7. Jack Kirby, of course, from 1982. Have another beautiful San-Ho Kim cover on the Cheyenne Kid, number 81 from 1970. Good to see you. Glad you could stop in. And we have Archie and Me, number 72. And once again, I do not know who did the cover on this. They had several artists doing covers during this time period, so it could have been most anybody. And finally, Dagar, well, Tales of Sword and Sorcery, Dagar the Invincible. That is one long title for a comic book. From 1974, and I don't have a listing as to who did the cover of that. Again, it looks a little bit like George Wilson, but there's a couple other artists that were similar to his. That, my friends, was what I pressed. And if you're interested in knowing what I've started reading, The Man in the Iron Mask, which is a sequel to the sequel to The Three Musketeers. I think it was The Three Musketeers first, then 10 years after, then The Man in the Iron Mask. And then he did another one, and I don't know what it was. So what's next? I got a box. What's in the box? There's somebody in the chat that knows what's in that box. I know 4 comics that are in that box because I carefully unwrapped them, kept them in their bricks, and the only thing I saw was the front and back comic on each brick. So that's it. So I don't know what's in the box, but we're going to find out right now. Starting with Buck Rogers in the 25th Century. And is there 3 comics in this? Yeah, he put 3 in one. I'm going to have to send him some bags and boards. He's getting cheap. We've got number 12 Whitman edition, number 14 Whitman edition, and number 15 Whitman edition. Set that there. Oh, this is cool. He knows me too good. Cold-blooded chameleon commandos. I love it. That's good stuff there. And on the other side, Night Glider. I have the card for this, but I don't have the comic anymore. Well, I do now, but I didn't. Oh, I like this a lot. And I like her artwork too. Jan Drasema did the artwork on this. Advanced Dungeons and Dragons #1. And on the back, we have Atari Force 15. I want to get all of those someday. Yeah, duh. Then I have Green Lantern Green Arrow #118. This was towards the end of the Green Lantern Green Arrow run, I think. The New Look Judge Dredd #1. I don't know if I had that or not. I thought I had all of the Judge Dredd comics, but maybe I don't. I'm going to have to dig out my Judge Dredd sometime and show them to you. Judge Dredd's Crime File #1. Judge Dredd's Crime File #4. Judge Dredd's Crime File #6. Three comics to a bag again. We've got Starman 30, Starman 6, and Starman 27. I used to have all of those. I don't know if I still do or not. They might have disappeared in a flood or got left behind in California and got sold cheap when all those other comics were sold. I don't know. No Justice #1. Justice League No Justice #1. Here's one I've never seen before. 2 full-length stories. The Super Friends Special, a #1. I've never seen that before. It's unusual when I run across a comic I've never seen, especially a DC comic that I'd never seen. Ashley Dust from Night Press. It's a nice looking cover. I like that. Justice League of America #252 and 243. Let me dig out the rest of them. We've got ElfQuest #4 and #18. I'm going to have to dig out my ElfQuests. I don't believe it. I can read this. I think I have books 1, 3, and 4. I don't remember this cover, so this might be the one I'm missing. Tarzan the Lost Adventure. Now, this is not a comic per se. This is, if I remember right, this is more of just a like a novelization. No, I guess it is. This is, but in the back has John Carter of Mars. And that looks like Alex Raymond's art. Yeah, that looks a little bit like Alex Raymond artwork, but I don't know for sure. Let's see, we got Everything's Archie number 16. And Shazam number 12. Or is that the DC 100 Super Spectacular? I think it's just Shazam number 12. Nope. It's Super Spectacular number 12, I think. Let me open it up and find out for sure. Nope, Shazam number 12. But that's good because it's one that I didn't have, so that's cool. So Tarzan, I recognize the cover. I know I've got this one. We'll go ahead and check the date on it anyway, or the number. I think I've already pressed my copy of it. Let's see. Number 83 from 1956. No, I haven't pressed my copy yet. But I'm pretty sure I have a copy of this. But if I don't, I do now. Very cool. We got a little Lulu. And a Chili Willy. The Chili Willy is a 4-color number 1177. I'm not sure what number the little Lulu is, and I don't want to open it and find out because it looks kind of delicate. So we'll wait until I can just I'll cut it out of the plastic. That's generally what I do. Yeah, I've got a lot of them, but I don't have them all. I've been working on that for years. Did I sell you a couple of Tarzans, Felix? Thinking I sold you a couple of my duplicates a while back. Marge's a little Lulu number 165. Got a boo-boo down here. And Nancy and Sluggo number 18. Going to have to do something about this. I don't know what yet. Space Beaver, number 1. You got to look at the back cover. I've got like 3 or 4 copies of this. It's cool. I like it. Renegade Rabbit, number 1. I don't know if I have this one or not. I've got so many indies from the 80s that I don't know what all I have. Adolescent Radioactive Black Belt Hamsters, number 2. And of course, it wraps around. I'll have to see what I've got and let you know. I think I've got your email somewhere. Here's a Samurai Squirrel, number 1. I've got multiple copies of this, but most of the ones I have a line drawn through the price tag. So glad to get a copy without that line. Multiple pages again. Multiple comics in a cover. What do we got here? We got Condor Man, number 1, number 2, and number 3. I've never had Condor Man before. That's kind of cool. I vaguely remember a TV show by that name. This is 4-color number 791, the 77th Bengal Lancers. Yeah, it's in poor condition, but it's a nice filler for my collection of 4-color. Then we have Amethyst Princess of Gem World number 11 from 1985. I think I've got it. I'm not going to swear to it. If I have it, I haven't looked at it in years. And this one is number 12. And number 3. And the number 3 that came out a few years back. This was a really good story. Took me 2 years to read it because I was missing a copy of one of them. I think it was number 3. But I finally picked up a copy and I was able to read it. I really enjoyed it. And some orange. Yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish filling that box I have up there and probably throw some bags and boards in it if there's some room and send them off to the person that sent me those. So, anybody have any questions for me? That was a movie. Okay, maybe it was a movie then, because I couldn't remember if it was TV or a movie. Maybe I saw it, the movie on TV. I don't know. I was in the Army when it came out. I know that. We would go to the movies. When I was in Germany, I was in Berlin, we would go to the movies because we would want popcorn. So we didn't care what was playing. We would just go to watch anything because all we wanted was some popcorn. Then you had to pay to get in to buy the popcorn. So we might as well see the movie, right? That's how I saw Alien. I don't remember if that's how I saw Predator or not. That's how I saw the first Superman movie with Christopher Reeve. I walked in the break or to the recreation center and said, "I feel like popcorn. Anybody want some popcorn?" They said, "Yeah, but we don't." But they were broke because they went out drinking the night before. I said, "Okay, well, yeah, let's go to the movie and have popcorn, and I'll pay." So I did, and that's when I saw Superman, the first Superman movie, and then they paid for the next. I didn't have to pay for a movie for about 3 or 4 times after that, because they kind of rotated it until everybody was paid up. Yeah, even new bags. The guy that brings me stuff here and those long boxes, a lot of them had brand new bags and boards in them. But I'll pull the board. I'll keep the board because I can use them for other things. But the bags go in the trash because I don't know where that bag has been. Yep. Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't re-released all of them. Well, no, I'm not. Just the first 2 are the only ones they have to release. After that, they got pretty bad. It's like the 1989 Batman. You don't need to watch any of the other Batmans. Just that one is good. And it had it actually, the ending was almost identical to Batman #1, because Joker dies in Batman #1. Yeah, I've got so much stuff now. Otisburg, yeah, Otisburg. It's a little small place. It's just a small place. And the other thing, I'm like, Hackensack. My mom lives in Hackensack, and Gene Hackman's going, not anymore. Uh, I don't have anything else to talk about tonight. So unless you're going to bring up a subject on the in the chat, we're probably going to close this down early. Or I could holler some more about grading, but that's kind of useless. Let's do that. We're going to cover a low grade. We'll see what they say about some of the lower grade stuff. Here we go. CGC. .5. A heavily defaced collectible with a number of major defects. Some pieces will also be missing. That's the lowest grade CGC gives. 0.5. But I think they also have a no grade, an NG category. So unfortunately, they don't use it. Oh, CBCS 0.5. It has major defects to the point where there is almost no collector value. Copies in this grade typically will have pages and or the front cover or back cover may be missing. They may have severe strains or heavy cover abrasions to the point where cover inks are gone, heavy defacing with paints, varnishes, glues, oil, indelible markers or dyes, etc. The inside pages can have extreme brittleness. But there's more. Did you know CBCS has a 0.3, a 0.1? Incomplete. Covers, coverless, single wraps, or pages. These designations are only used for the purpose of authentication. Numerous collectors and comic fans will purchase coverless comics to either read or to obtain a filler copy of the book for their collection. Books that are coverless but otherwise complete will receive a grade of 0.3 from CBCS, as will covers missing their interiors. Coverless copies that have incomplete interiors, wraps, or single pages will receive a grade of 0.1 from CBCS, as will just front covers or just back covers. Copies in this designation typically will, in most cases, be beyond collectability to the majority of the hobby. Rare key comics and incomplete pages, i.e. centerfolds, are considered to be valuable by collecting community for either restoration purposes or the individuals who just wish to own a piece of comic history. Surprised they even had that on there. Go back to here. 0.5, poor. Most comic books in this grade have been sufficiently degraded to the point where there is little or no collector value. They are easily identified by a complete absence of eye appeal. Comics in this grade are brittle almost to the point of turning to dust with a touch, and are usually incomplete. Extreme cover fading may render the comic almost indiscernible. may have extremely severe stains, mildew, or heavy cover abrasion to the point that some cover inks are indistinct or absent. Covers may be detached with large chunks missing, can have extremely ragged edges and extensive creasing. Corners, yeah, kind of like that Our Army at War that I conserved. Covers are rounded or virtually absent. Covers may have been defaced with paints, varnishes, glues, oil, indelible markers, or dyes, and may have suffered heavy water damage. Can also have extensive amateur repairs such as laminated covers, extreme spine roll present, can have extremely ragged spines or a complete book length split. Staples can be missing or show extreme rust and discoloration. Extensive staple tears and stress lines may be present, as well as extreme rust migration. Paper exhibits moderate to severe brittleness, where the comic book literally falls apart when examined. Extreme acidic odor may be present. Extensive interior tears, multiple pages, including the centerfold, may be missing that affect readability. Coupons may be cut. Point 3, incomplete. Books that are coverless but are otherwise complete, or covers missing their interiors. Point 1, incomplete. Coverless copies that have incomplete interiors, wraps, or single pages will receive a grade of 0.1, as will just front covers or just back covers. So they're all pretty much the same, except that CGC will grade a 0.1 as a 0.5 because they don't have anything lower, which is silly. What is the grade of that, Nancy? I got to go back and find it. If it is complete, I'll have to take it out. Wow, nice pages. Cover detached and pretty bad spine split. But I'd still give it a fair to good, just on the quality of the interior pages. I would give this a 1 to a 1.5 based on the quality of the pages. This is going to get a little bit of love because I can fix the spine split. I'm not going to try to put it back in there with that tape on the cover. Yeah, it's a fairly nice copy, all things considered. Like I said, maybe fair to good. Happy with that. Yeah, it might take a while. I have a lot of comics to work on. I look at it this way. I have a lot of comics that have complete spine splits, so I have a lot of comics that I can practice on for when I get ready to do that Lois Lane #1. Which is Silver Age, and I'm scared to death. I have to do a bunch more Silver Age before I get to that one. But I think just a short bath might take care of it. I'm still amazed by the fact that wash that I did on that jug head that I'm working on, that watermark or that water stain, the tide mark, is completely gone. I can't find a trace of it. I even looked at it with my magnifier, and I couldn't find a trace. It's coming out a whole lot better than I thought it would. And I'm kind of happy with the way the leaf casting turned out too. I think that was in this one. Yeah, that was in the one I released this morning. Because I added on to it. I was going to end it and not show you the finished product until Friday. And I thought, no, I can't do that. It's dry. I can go ahead and show it to him. No, I haven't shown it to you yet. I take it back. Crap. Well, you got a sneak peek from my video on Friday, because that's the first thing I show on Friday's video. I haven't finished Friday's video. I'm waiting for something to dry. Yes, my witch's brew. I can't believe how good that turned out. Just for me, not tearing it up anymore, but using my shredder. Wow, my paper shredder just made everything so much easier and so much smoother. It's just, yeah, it worked out good. I would go get it, but it's 2 rooms over and I don't feel like getting up. And you'll see it Friday anyway, Friday morning. Yeah, it'll be on Friday morning, 6:30 is when I release them. Upload them Thursday night for Friday morning release. I think what I do is I show that, and then I clean the first. I disassemble the interior after making sure it's the right interior, and then I show the me cleaning the first wrap. But the interior, it doesn't need any work at all other than cleaning and deacidification. So I'm not going to show all that. I showed one, that'll be enough. And then hopefully Monday, I can do a cover trim and reassemble the comic. So that one will be pretty quick, if I can get all the pages done by the weekend. I've still got 7 pages to go. I think that's going to be it for tonight, everybody. Thanks for stopping in. Didn't mean to drop my videos or my links so late. I think we might have had more people here if I had released it on Monday when I planned on it, or on Sunday when I planned on it. But hey, I forgot. I've been busy, you know. So, yeah, we'll see you next Wednesday, same time, 8 p.m. Central. And, of course, I'll have the Friday video. And you never know, I'll publish some more stuff over the weekend. I don't know what yet. Maybe I'll show some comic books. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a pop-up sale. Probably not. I'm not going to do a pop-up sale. What I'll do is I'll let you know in advance when it's going to be. And I'll tell you a couple of times. I'm thinking the end of November or the 1st of January. I haven't decided what. Either the end of November or the 1st of January, or maybe the first. It won't be on a Wednesday night though. I'll figure out what day, and then I'm going to offer a whole bunch of comics cheap. So we'll see what it is. See y'all next week. Have yourself a great week. Have yourself a great weekend. And take care, everybody. Bye.